Hey everyone, Psycho here again, and we are back with another Flippin' for Profit. This is episode 2 of the 300EX video series. Today, I want to remove the chain because I want that for myself, and I have a buyer for this stuff. Basically the shocks, the upper, the lower A-arms, and I'm going to throw in the hubs and all that for free. And I told him $250 for both sides. I'll give him everything. And he said sure. So we need to unbolt the shock here. This one, and then on the same on the bottom. And then we gotta unhook the caliper. And then this little steering arm thing here. And then this should all just slide out and that'll be it. So let's get to it. So for removing the chain, it's actually really simple. It has one of these brake links or whatever you call them, and they just clip in place. I've already taken this one off, but you can see it's slotted. So one is here when it's locked in, and then you just slide it down to unlock it, and you just gotta pull these fingers off. So it's pretty simple. You might have to work at it if it's like rusted on or whatever. And then that pops off like so. Just another piece of your chain, and then the link pushes out through. And that's it. That's all that holds your chain together. Now, like I say, I want to keep this chain because this is a new chain. It's a nice one too. So we'll keep that. May need to use it in the future. It is, I'm not really sure what brand that is, but we're going to keep it anyways. So now that we got the chain off, I put it back together. That's hanging up in my garage. We'll start ripping this apart. Now this is spinning already, so we need a wrench to go in the back of it. So let's go with this. And when it breaks, finish it off. Now, may have to just take the strain off it there a little bit. Then we'll bring this out. We'll just put it back on. That way when the guy comes, he's got a set of bolts to use as well. Everything there looks good. Same process. Lift up on it, wiggle it, and we'll set this one aside because we don't have the other one out yet. Go back here. And there's our upper controller mount. So the other thing I got to do is there's a little holder here for the brake line. That has to come off as well. And like I say, the caliper itself, we'll get rid of that. And then, like I say, most of this one should just come out and that'll be it. Let's get the lower one off. I'm actually going to use the screwdriver here to push it out a little bit. There we go. Now, this one I'm going to do backwards because of the way it's positioned. Jesus. That one's dirty. The biggest issue is this arm's in the way, this steering rod or whatever. But I should be able to, there we go. Should be able to do something with that. There we go. I don't want it to slip off because you notice I'm not wearing nothing on my hands. And the last thing you want to do is fall down on the metal. Because it does not feel pleasant. Oh, shit like that. There she goes. So this is actually really simple. There's nothing magical about getting all this stuff apart. There's that. So now our upper, our lower, and our shock is disconnected. Like I say, now we just got to get rid of this, the caliper, and unhook this rod here, and she's done. So I removed the shock just to get it out of the way, but we'll start with getting this off. This is just a little clamp that holds the hose on. It's just in the way. So that's that. So then that should just slide off, like so. Next, we'll take off the caliper. That's held in by 2 bolts in the back. That is, what are these? 12 mils. There's one. There should be one underneath. That's 2. That should, in theory, come off. Now, will it? Well, it's moving at least. I think it's stuck on the actual rotor part. It looks to, it should come off. We'll just see if we can pry it off here somehow. There it goes. So that's free. So we can. When we drop that arm there, it should sneak it in. So that's pretty much everything other than this steering arm, and this here should be pretty simple. It's just a pin and a nut. Pull the pin out, and now I don't know what size that is. That's pretty loose, so it's probably a 17. I would say yes, it is a 17. That's a 14. Yep, 17. Now, will this break loose is the question. Is that right? Yeah. Ouch. Ah, smacked my head right on that bar. So we got our 17. And actually, it wasn't that on there very good at all. Oh well. Good thing that pin was in there, I guess. So that's held in by one of these little crown nuts or whatever people call them. That should come up and out. Now, just pull out these bolts. I had to put them back in just to hold things in place. And there we have it. Here we go. An upper, a lower, and a hub, and whatever else we're going to throw in on it. So there's the full unit that I'm going to sell as a package. All the bolts I put back in, shocks back on. Now all I got to do is the same thing to this side. Alright, so a week or two has passed, and that's what we have left. I sold a couple little things off it, but I didn't feel like filming for such small things. Like, we sold the bars, that went for 30 bucks. Sold the muffler, that was another 30. Now I got somebody coming for the airbox and rear shock. I'm hoping to get 60 bucks for that. We haven't discussed the price, so I don't know. And then somebody's supposed to be coming for the swing arm and axles. We said $100 for that. So if I get that, that'd be great. I'll be in profit. And then I'll just try to do, like, try to get rid of the plastics right quick. Maybe 100 bucks. I don't know what I'm going to get for them. Even if somebody offered 100 for them, I'd probably take it, and then 100 for the bike itself. Because, I mean, the engine's complete, even though it's, like, not running and stuff. And it's got the calipers, they work. The starter works on this. There's got all the wiring, LED light. So there's a little bit on it. If I get another 100, so then, like, be another 300. That, I don't know what that makes, probably like $700-800. If we double our money, I'm happy. But I'll let you guys know what I get for this, and we'll find out. Alright, so it is another day. It is a beautiful day, and I think I have somebody coming now for the rest of the bike. So this is what I have left. I've sold the front end, the shocks, the A-arms. That went for $75. So this is what's left. So I told the guy 200 bucks he could have everything. He said, sure, sounds good. So we'll get rid of all this today, because I have to make room for my wood in my wood shed. And you guys will see why, because I've already started piling in here, so I need the room for that rather than bike parts. So another thing I'm doing today is I'm meeting up with a guy to trade my aluminum boat. I don't know if I showed this on YouTube or not, but that's my 12-foot aluminum Sears. I'm trading it for a brand new steel chainsaw, 60cc, and a steel bush trimmer. So that, I think, is going to be a decent trade. So it is a new day, and I finally have everything sold off. As you can see, no more bike parts. I have all my wood put away, and that's the main reason why I had to get rid of it quickly. So I took a little less than I wanted, but we sold the last few pieces for 200 bucks. And I have a sheet inside here. We'll go over the numbers. Now, I said that I was trading my aluminum boat, so this is the stuff I traded that for. So this is a steel FS 131R or 131R, and it's a straight shaft bush saw. It can use a whippersnipper head or a blade. I have a blade for it, and this thing is pretty much brand new. Like, there's a few marks on it, but he used it very, very little. And I mean, the exhaust is not even rusted out of it or nothing, so it's basically pretty much a brand new machine. So he threw that in on the deal, and he threw this case and sleeve and this chainsaw. Now this is what I wanted. So this is the Steel MS 311. This is a 59cc chainsaw. One thing I do got to change out is the blade, or the bar rather, because this is a 16-inch and I want an 18 for this saw. But even if you look at the teeth on it, like, there's no wear at all. Very, very little use on this saw, and like I say, it still looks brand new. So we traded those two items for my aluminum boat. The boat itself stood me $400. I bought it last summer to go out mackerel fishing around the bay, and I painted the inside, so even if you say it stood me $450, that would take it all. I got, so you could say this saw is about $800 saw with the case and everything, and then this saw here, or the bush saw, is about another $600. So I did really well in this trade. I'm glad to have it. This was kind of an extra. I wanted the chainsaw because I wanted a bigger saw to go in the woods with. Anyways, another thing I'm going to touch on is I had shown you guys last video that I bought a 2013 CRF 80, and we were going to fix it up a little bit and then flip it or do whatever. Now, I didn't film any of that. I probably should have. I could have. But we did an oil change. We did the spark plug, the timing chain tension. We did the rear brakes. Well, I adjusted the rear brakes and the front ones. And what else did I do? I put a new rear sprocket on the back, and I put a new chain on it. I put a 420 O-ring chain on it. And I had listed it for, what was it, $2,200. So decent profit margin there. I paid $1,100 for it. Probably put about $100 into it. And I had a guy message me. He said, "I'll trade you another bike and some cash." And I said, "Okay, well, how much cash?" And he said $1,400. So right off the bat, I was up $200 on the deal, which awesome. And he threw this bike here in. So this is a 2016 CRF 125F. Now, as you can see, there's no engine here. It needs some work, but this bike has basically been beat to hell. Yeah, for the short 4 or 5 years that she's been on the been around, because you look at the plastics, they're all scratched up. It's missing all the grommets. It's just held together with wire. That's not right. I mean, there's nothing holding the seat on. It's missing the adjusters here. The bearings are good in it, and the exhaust, carburetor, all that looks good. The bike overall looks pretty good, just like some cosmetic stuff. And it came with a box of parts, and the guy said that the young guy told him that he swamped it and he just got rid of it as is. And then the guy that I got it from took it apart. He said he couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. I kind of don't really believe what he told me, but whatever, because I said I was just going to part it out anyways. And I looked this engine over, and I put this back together just to see how it all went. But the only thing I noticed was that the cylinder had a crack in it, and it would lose compression through that crack. But the bottom end looked good, other than they kind of gummed this gasket in, and I get a new one of those, no problem. Yeah, everything looked good, and it still rolled over. Like right now, where I got the timing chain in, you can still kick it over, and it'll still turn. Now, nothing's tightened down or anything, so the valves ain't going to move up and down. But it's still, like I say, it rotates. It's not seized. So I said, well, it was kind of a shame to part a bike out when maybe I could get it running. And this is all like all the other parts, and I don't see anything wrong with like the piston and like the covers. Everything's here. So I left it down to whether or not the paperwork was any good. So he gave me papers. It was missing the bottom half. And here in Nova Scotia, what they do is the bottom half is supposed to be signed by the new owner, and then they send that in to get it out of your name. And then it locks it to whoever's name's put on there. So what happens is that, say the next person that buys it, it's locked to them. They got to get the paperwork done. They decide not to, and then they sell it to the next person. And then he sells it to the next person, whatever. And then when you go in to get the paperwork done, they say, sorry, you got to go back and get this guy to pay his taxes in order for you to get the bike in your name. And if that was going to happen, basically it's a lost cause. It's not going to happen. Very rarely will you find the person and get them to go in and pay the taxes on it. So I said, that happens, it's a parts bike. We'll part it out just like the 300. I went in, and it was actually funny. She asked, like, what was the story? Like, how'd they get the bike? Trade it for it, blah, blah, blah. And she said, no, here you go. And she signed the papers over, and I got a new sheet for it, and the bike's now in my name. So this is not going to be a parts bike. I'm actually planning now to fix it up. I've already priced the cylinder. From Honda, they want $400 just for the cylinder, which is crazy. I can get a kit on eBay. I know it's knockoff parts, but the cylinder, the piston, gaskets, wrist pin, and I think that's it. Yeah, like it's a full kit to rebuild that side of the motor, and for $100. I think it's $120 on eBay and like $93 on Amazon. So I'm going to buy that so we can rebuild the engine, and I'm going to try to get it running. And then I'm just going to order a new set of plastics, new sticker kit, and then try to go through and pick out like what's missing, and then just totally rebuild this bike. And then I'm going to keep it. I don't think I'm going to actually flip this. I don't see any point to. Because at this point, it stands me nothing. I got it for free. I put $13.20 into the paperwork, which is whatever. And yeah, like I say, you can't go wrong there. So, free bike to build. I think I'm going to have fun with it. A few things I do need, like cosmetic stuff, like new grips. Not a big deal. This clutch lever's broke. Again, not a big deal. You can get the grips and the bars off Amazon. I think they're like 50 bucks. So we'll do that. I might change out a couple things to make it like a little customizable for myself. Yeah, I think it's going to be a decent little bike. Because I've had like a YZ 250F and stuff, but it was cammed out. And a lot of the power was up on the top end. I'm not a fan of that no more, just flat out all the time. I kind of like just putting around, having a little fun. So I think this 125 would be perfect for me. Another thing is I didn't accept the offer when he first said that. And I got him to throw this in too. But this is just a little electric trolling motor. It's not very fast. It's nothing. Sorry about that. My camera clicked off there. I'm not sure where it stopped, but the electric motor, like I say, got that for free. Got this bike for free, and we're gonna build that. Last thing I want to talk about is what we made on the four-wheeler. Now, originally I thought I could get about $1,000, but I kind of ran out of time, and I didn't want to really mess with people because there was so many people lowballing, expecting to get parts for like 20 bucks, and it just got to the point where I didn't care anymore. But wheels we sold for 200. The carburetor and cable was another 100. Sold the muffler for 30. The bars for 30. The back shock for 40. The front end was the A-arms and the shocks for 75. And then I just sold everything all in one deal to another guy for 200. Now, we paid $400 for the four-wheeler. We made $675. So we made $275 profit, or a 69% return on investment. So I think that was pretty good. It gave me something to do, gave me something to film for you guys, something a little different. Let me know if you want to see more of these kind of videos. I love trading. I love hustling. It's what I live for. I'm on Facebook and the classifieds day in and day out, finding deals like this. I do the same thing with real estate. There's something I don't really touch on, but I buy a lot of land and I sell land and I try to develop stuff like that. Maybe those videos I can do them as well. If you're interested, just let me know. But anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed today's video. If you did, comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for viewing.